To the honored Council of Earth, we humbly request humanitarian aid. Our crops have failed. Our people are starving. Please help us. The transmission flickered with static, echoing in the silence of the Earth Diplomatic Corps' war room. Several representatives stared at the display, brows furrowed. One chuckled dryly. Ellis Locke leaned back in his chair, swirling black coffee with a lazy flick of his wrist. Finally, he said, smiling. Someone asked nicely. Varash Prime, 3 weeks earlier. The skies above Varash Prime used to glow violet at dusk, streaked with bands of gold from twin suns. Now they hung gray and choked, clouded with dust and exhaust. The once grand towers of the Varashian capital shimmered with failing energy shields, struggling to maintain breathable air. Chancellor Aurel stood before the great assembly hall, tail coiled stiffly in frustration. His scales, once a proud jade green, dulled with stress. Around him, the ruling caste murmured nervously. This is beneath us, hissed Advisor Kelrin. To ask, humans? Aurel stared at the transmission console. His claws tapped the marble floor, an unconscious tick. We have no choice, he said finally. The Union refuses to intervene. Our reserves are gone. If we don't reach out, we won't last another cycle. Kelrin scoffed, but didn't argue. Pride had limits. Survival did not. Aurel turned to the aide. Send the message. Earth Orbit, United Earth Diplomatic Cruiser, Argo Ascendant. The Varashian distress signal had been received, logged, analyzed, and forwarded, landing neatly in Ellis Locke's hands. The man in question now stood aboard the bridge of the Argo Ascendant, adjusting the collar of his gray coat, the insignia of Earth Command stitched into the chest. He looked every bit the diplomat, clean-cut, calm voice, eyes like a summer sky. But beneath that was steel. The kind of steel that knew when to offer a hand, and when to use it to choke. Coordinates locked, his second-in-command reported. Prep the team. Minimal footprint, Locke said. We're guests after all. The officer raised a brow. And the contingency plans? Locke gave a thin smile. Oh, bring them. Discreetly. First contact. The shuttle descended over the Varashian capital like a silver arrow piercing the smog. Varashian guards in ceremonial armor flanked the landing pad. Aurel and his entourage stood tall, ornate robes, polished staffs, their posture pure performance. The hatch hissed open. Out walked Locke, alone, hands folded behind his back, expression serene. He looked absurdly underdressed compared to the robed assembly. He smiled as if entering a friendly neighbor's garden. Chancellor Aurel stepped forward. You are Commander Locke? I am, Locke replied with a warm nod. And it's a pleasure, Chancellor. Thank you for the invitation. The subtle emphasis on invitation was not lost on Aurel. Nor was the way Locke's eyes quickly scanned the plaza, calculating angles, exits, weaknesses. We appreciate Earth's willingness to assist, Aurel said stiffly. Of course. Earth believes in helping friends. Locke stepped closer. And we're eager to make new ones. Behind him, 2 more shuttles descended. Medical personnel, agricultural engineers, and civilian specialists emerged. But among them, discreetly armored figures moved with a different rhythm, alert, synchronized. Peacekeepers, allegedly. Your people must be tired from the journey, Aurel said, clearly trying to regain ground. You'll be hosted in the Grand Hall of Accord. Locke nodded. How generous. We've brought our own supplies, best not to burden your already strained logistics. Our mobile aid stations will deploy within the hour. Without clearance? Locke tilted his head. It's food and water, Chancellor. Surely no one here objects to relief. Aurel forced a smile, unsure if he'd just been diplomatically boxed in. An uneasy welcome. In the following days, the human team worked with astonishing speed. Fields were replanted with high-yield earth crops. Atmospheric processors were deployed to clean polluted air. Water tables were mapped and filtered within 48 hours. The Varashian citizens were stunned. They'd expected handouts, not a systematic revival. But with each gift came conditions. Nothing stated outright. Just policies. For safety. Curfews to avoid unrest. Workforces, assisted by autonomous human drones. All signed off by Locke's charming public addresses. We're simply trying to restore stability, he said in a press briefing, smiling for the Varashian media. Peace is a fragile thing. Sometimes it needs structure. Behind him, guards in Earth uniforms stood just out of frame. Private conference. Late one night, Chancellor Aurel met with Locke in the observation dome overlooking the city. Rain slicked the curved glass as the storm pounded overhead. You move quickly, Commander, Aurel said carefully. Faster than expected. We're efficient, Locke replied, sipping tea. Your security forces now operate our transport hubs. Temporarily. Just until things normalize. Our communication channels are routed through Earth networks. Locke shrugged lightly. Yours were compromised. Ours are secure. And our Senate? Locke smiled, teeth barely showing. I've only made recommendations. But if your people trust us more, well, maybe they're just grateful. Aurel's tail twitched. You speak with great warmth, Commander. But something in your tone feels cold. Locke stood, walked to the window, and pointed toward the horizon. Dozens of Earth supply ships floated in the air, forming a line across the sky. Chancellor, he said gently. On Earth, we have a saying, you don't notice the lion smiling until it's already too close to run. Aurel said nothing. Locke turned back and offered his hand. We're here to help. I hope we can continue working together. The Chancellor shook it, and it felt like signing something irreversible. Closing line. Back aboard the Argo Ascendant, a young ensign glanced at Locke's post-mission report. Operation Polite Chains Phase 1 complete. It read. Sir? She asked hesitantly. Is this really aid? Locke didn't look up. He merely replied. It's mercy. Just not the kind they expected. Scene, Day 12, Varash Prime. What started as gratitude now festered as unease. The humans had brought food, rebuilt power grids, and revitalized dying farmlands. They'd cleaned rivers, stabilized atmospheric levels, and restored communications across the continent. But no one could explain why their patrol drones moved silently through city streets after dusk. Or why government buildings had advisors posted outside. And certainly, no one knew when, or if, the humans intended to leave. Chancellor Aurel sat in his private chamber, shoulders hunched under the flickering lights. The official reports were clean. Too clean. Everything was running better, smoother. But every improvement came with a signature, and every signature led back to Locke. He tapped his desk console. Get me Advisor Kelrin. Human HQ, Earth Mobile Command Dome, Sector 4. Commander Ellis. Locke sipped black coffee and listened to his field operatives without a flicker of concern. His expression never shifted as they read off a string of updates. Hydro infrastructure complete in Zone 3. All irrigation rerouted through our pumps. Education centers now using the Earth Standard AI curriculum. Resistance minimal. Local militia disbanded yesterday. Civilians responded favorably to replacement patrols. Locke nodded. Keep uniforms off-world design. We're still friends. Not overlords. Yet, murmured Lieutenant Mara Voss. Locke shot her a faint grin. We don't conquer. We co-author history. A calm ping interrupted the meeting. Varashian High Advisor requesting audience, the system announced. Locke leaned back, stretched slightly, and cracked his knuckles. Perfect. Put him through. Transmission, secure link. Kelrin appeared on the holoscreen, his expression sour. Commander Locke. I speak today under the authority of the High Council. We require clarification on recent Earth deployments. Your presence grows invasive. Locke blinked, polite as ever. We've been nothing but helpful. I'd be happy to walk you through our humanitarian programs. Would you prefer a presentation or just the bullet points? We see drones in our airspace. Our networks rerouted. Our Senate silenced. Locke's voice softened. We haven't silenced anyone. We've suggested quiet for the sake of order. Your soldiers. Peacekeepers, Locke corrected. Stationed temporarily. If they've made your leaders uncomfortable, I assure you, it's only because they've exposed structural vulnerabilities. Kelrin's scaled face twisted. This is occupation. Locke smiled kindly. Then you should have called someone else. The channel cut. Inside the human briefing chamber, Mara Voss watched the transmission end. That'll escalate things. Locke didn't respond immediately. He walked to the wide tactical display showing Varash Prime. Human markers dotted the screen like quiet embers. He tapped the display lightly. They thought aid was a box of supplies. A warm blanket. A food packet. But we're giving them the whole fire station, and showing them the building was always on fire. Voss crossed her arms. Think they'll push back? They'll try. Scene, Varashian Council Chamber. Chancellor Oral slammed his fist on the stone table. He's replacing us piece by piece. Other ministers nodded, some with fear, others with fury. The room vibrated with tension. Kelrin stood. We underestimated them. We begged for assistance, and instead we got bureaucracy with a smile and soldiers behind it. Councillor Drevik hissed. Then eject them. Revoke the diplomatic access. Send them home. Silence. No one wanted to speak the truth. Earth wasn't a neighbor you could simply shut out. Oral exhaled. We need leverage. Something they want. A junior minister raised his hand hesitantly. The Talar vaults? All eyes turned. The vaults, ancient technology buried beneath the Varashian capital. Unopened. Untouched. Protected by interstellar treaties. Earth's always been curious about them. Kelrin muttered. Then it's time, Oral said. We bait the trap. Scene, Earth Dome, hours later. A formal invitation arrived from the Varashian High Council. Earth personnel would be granted exclusive research access to the Talar vaults. A historic gesture. A show of trust. Locke read it twice. Either they're surrendering, he said slowly, or they think they're clever. Mara raised a brow. Trap? Definitely. But sometimes the best way to disarm a trap is to let it spring. Talar vaults, deep beneath Varash Prime. Carved into bedrock, older than even Varashian recorded history, the Talar vaults had long been rumored to contain pre-civilization technology. Forbidden knowledge. Lost weapons. No species had been granted access. Until now. Locke entered with a team of 3, Mara Voss, Dr. Reyes, and a quiet comms officer named Chin. Varashian escorts flanked the corridor. Silent. Watching. Locke strolled casually. Ancient ruins, surprise invitations. If I didn't know better, I'd say we were being set up for a mysterious disappearance. Mara smirked. I packed for an ambush. Dr. Reyes whispered. I'm detecting EM surges. Something's live in here. Doors opened ahead. The chamber pulsed. Massive monoliths, inscriptions glowing faintly. A central console blinked with dormant systems. Kelrin stepped forward. This is what we offer. Unprecedented access. Consider it a symbol of our trust. Locke walked to the console. You realize if this turns on, Earth legally owns the tech under the Restoration Act. Kelrin's smile was thin. Then perhaps you should think very carefully, before touching it. Locke stared at him for a long beat. Then pressed the panel. The vault roared to life. Walls retracted. Energy surged. Lights carved through the dark. Holograms spun in midair, maps, star charts, weapons blueprints. Old. Far too advanced. Kelrin's eyes widened. He hadn't expected it to work. Locke, calm as ever, turned to him. You should never bluff with tools you don't understand. He tapped his calm. Chen, broadcast everything to the Ascendant. Now. Copy, Chen said. Kelrin lunged. Guards raised weapons. Too late. Dozens of shimmering blue lights blinked on in the ceiling. Earth's stealth turrets had been there the whole time. Locke's smile returned, razor sharp. Nice trap. he said. Ours work better. Aftermath, Varashian broadcast. Across Varash Prime, citizens watched in stunned silence as Earth's flag appeared beside ancient artifacts. Their most sacred site. Their oldest mystery. Now, secured by humans. Locke addressed them calmly. Earth doesn't take. We protect. What your leaders tried to weaponize, we will preserve. And will ensure no one ever misuses it again. Including them. Behind him, Varashian officials were led out quietly. Not as prisoners. As liabilities. Final scene. Mara leaned against the rail of the Earth Dome, watching shuttles carry vault relics into orbit. Did we just colonize a planet without firing a shot? Locke didn't answer right away. He watched Varashians in the distance, some angry, some resigned, some oddly relieved. He spoke softly. Empires wear armor. We wear smiles. One frightens. The other walks right in. Scene, high orbit, Earth's mobile command cruiser, Ascendant. The command deck of the Ascendant was quiet. Not silent, quiet. The kind of quiet that hums with restrained energy, like a coiled spring ready to snap. Commander Ellis Locke stood before a panoramic display showing Varash Prime below. A planet of proud traditions, ancient mysteries, and now, unwitting host to Earth's most patient occupation in galactic history. Lieutenant Voss entered, her boots soft against the polished deck. We intercepted encrypted chatter from the Council's inner circle, she said, handing him a data slate. Locke scanned it briefly. They're calling for an emergency alliance vote. Trying to rally outside powers. She nodded. They're framing us as a creeping annexation. He smiled faintly. That's fair. But technically, we're just providing continued stabilization services. She smirked. With turrets. With love, Locke corrected. Scene, Varash Prime, Underground Council bunker. Chancellor Oral's voice echoed through the chamber like a blade scraping metal. They've taken our vaults. They control the skies. Our broadcasts are filtered. We're being rewritten in real time. Advisors argued across the table. Some demanded retaliation. Others pleaded for diplomacy. One suggested surrender under the pretense of partnership. Kelrin remained silent, his eyes flicking across the table like a predator calculating prey. Finally, he spoke. There is another way. Silence fell. Kelrin continued. We invite the Alrek dynasty. They hate humans more than we do. They'd support us just to spite Earth. Counselor Drevik hissed. Alrek are warmongers. Exactly. Sometimes you need monsters to scare off bigger ones. The council debated into the night, unaware that every word was being transcribed aboard the Ascendant. Scene, Earth Intelligence Hub, deep in the cruiser. Operative Chen leaned back in her chair, hands steepled. The Varashian feed streamed across her console, translating in real time. She didn't smile. She rarely did. Instead, she pressed a single button. Phase 2, she said. Scene, Varash Prime, dawn. The skies opened with precision. Dozens of low-orbit craft descended, not with weapons, but with teams. Scientists, architects, medics, and logistic officers. All human. All friendly. All unstoppable. They wore blue jackets, white gloves, and carried data pads instead of rifles. They entered schools, rewired hospitals, restructured infrastructure, and filed everything under an innocuous title, Clause 17, Reconstruction through Partnership. A clause buried on page 413 of the original aid agreement Varash had signed with Earth 12 days ago. Few had read that far. Clause 17 allowed for temporary, full-spectrum oversight in the event of threats to ongoing peace. The Chancellor realized the mistake too late. Scene, Varashian Broadcast Center, hours later. Commander Locke appeared on every channel at once, his expression warm and firm. Dear people of Varash, we understand your leaders have grown nervous. Change can feel like loss, but it's not. It's adaptation. Together, we're evolving. Together, we're preventing war before it starts. He paused, then added. And if outside forces attempt interference, they'll meet our patience, before our protocols. Scene: Outer System, Alrek Invasion Armada. 20 warships, powered by fission black cores, emerged from hyperspace just outside Varash Prime's orbit. The Alrek didn't believe in warnings. They were efficient, ruthless, brutal. But before they could position, every one of their systems froze. Comms scrambled. Engines failed. Shields dropped. Their flagship screen turned black, then blinked alive with a single line. This orbit is under Earth's Extended Defensive Treaty. Any unauthorized vessels will be disassembled and politely returned. It was signed. Commander E. Locke, with warmest regards. The fleet turned around. Quietly. All 20. Scene: Varash Prime that evening. In a quiet garden near the capital, Chancellor Oral walked with Advisor Kelrin under artificial moonlight. The Alrek abandoned us, Oral said bitterly. Kelrin didn't respond. He was watching the sky, where tiny streaks of blue light marked human satellites weaving a new mesh over Varash's upper atmosphere. What happens next? The Chancellor asked. Kelrin exhaled. We survive. That's what we always do. But this time, we'll learn to smile while it happens. Scene: Earth HQ Lounge, celebratory briefing. Mara Voss leaned on the bar, sipping synth whiskey. You realize we've taken over a planet without firing a single shot? Chen, seated beside her, muttered. We fired one. Into the heart of their ego. Locke approached, nursing a cup of coffee. They called us for help. We helped. Mara turned to him. And now they're annexed under Clause 17? He smiled. No. They're enrolled in the Earth Outreach Network. Chen raised an eyebrow. Is that what we're calling it now? Sounds better than Stealth Empire, Locke said. And it fits on the brochure. Final scene: a private message. In his quarters, Locke recorded a private transmission to Earth's Central Command. Mission status: operational success. Varash secured through compliance, misdirection, and contractual dominance. No major casualties. No physical resistance. Emotional resistance ongoing but manageable. Expect long-term integration. He hesitated before ending the message. Observation: alien civilizations fear brute force. But what truly terrifies them is agreement with fine print. He clicked send, leaned back, and let the quiet settle in. Strangely cooperative, curiously smooth. Markets reopened. Schools buzzed. Transport lines ran on time for the first time in 30 years. But the people? They smiled less. Chancellor Oral sat at his private desk, watching live feeds from the new orbital network Earth had deployed. Every camera, every drone, every communications relay was human-coded. Not a single line of infrastructure belonged to Varash anymore. Advisor Kelrin entered without knocking. They're building a monument, he said flatly. Oral blinked. To what? Kelrin tossed the holodisk onto the table. A shimmer lit up between them, a 200-foot statue in the main Capitol Plaza. A human. Benevolent posture. Hand extended. The plaque beneath read, To Partnership, Progress, and Peace, sponsored by Earth's Outreach Division. They're rewriting us in stone, Kelrin muttered. Oral didn't answer. He was too busy staring at the figure's face. It was smiling. Scene: Human Outreach Command, orbiting Varash Prime. Commander Ellis Locke stood in a wide, transparent corridor, watching the planet below. Lieutenant Voss stepped up beside him. The council is quiet, she said. Not compliant, but dulled. Good, Locke replied. A pause stretched. They don't see what's happening, she added. Oh, they see it, he said. They just thought it would come with screaming. Instead, we gave them Wi-Fi and free dental. Voss chuckled once. The polite invasion. No one fears a handshake, Locke said. But they should. Scene: Hidden transmission, deep space. A red light blinked in the dark. Across thousands of light years, a signal reached its destination. The message was brief. Earth's method, cultural replacement. Economic entanglement. Strategic patience. Highly effective. Recommend immediate response. The signal vanished. Somewhere in a black corner of the galaxy, an old power stirred. Scene Varash Prime UN Human Conference, Hall of Agreements. Weeks later, Earth hosted a friendship summit on Varash soil. Dozens of alien delegates attended, most to observe. Some to spy. A few to warn. Commander Locke took the stage in full ceremonial uniform, modest, sharp, and utterly unthreatening. Esteemed delegates, he began. Humanity thanks you for your curiosity, your counsel, and your occasional sarcasm. We cherish all forms of engagement. Scattered laughter. Nervous smiles. Locke continued, strolling slowly. We understand that Earth's involvement on Varash Prime has raised questions. So let's be clear, we came to help. We stayed to stabilize. And we remain because stability isn't built in a weekend. Polite nods. He stopped in front of the Aurek emissary. We do not seek conquest. We avoid it by nature. Conquest is messy, loud, and inefficient. Then he turned back to the crowd, his smile unwavering. But influence, influence is clean. Silence thickened. We teach. We offer tools. We share systems that ensure progress. If that frightens you, perhaps you should ask why progress scares you. Still smiling. Still friendly. Scene, post-summit, VIP lounge. Voss leaned on a balcony, sipping synth tea. Kelrin approached warily. You always drink that stuff? He asked. She turned, surprised he spoke to her. It helps with nerves, she said. Do humans get nervous? Voss glanced at him, then shrugged. We do. We just don't show it where it counts. Kelrin watched her a moment. You knew this would happen. From the day we asked for help. She didn't deny it. He looked down at the human-built plaza, the bustling commerce zones, the orbital defense grid shimmering in the sky. You didn't invade, he said quietly. You nested. She smiled faintly. Birds bring gifts, don't they? And if we try to throw the nest out? Her voice didn't change. Then the sky gets very dark, very fast. Scene, Emergency Council Session, Varash Prime. Chancellor Oros slammed his fist on the desk. We need our planet back. Kelrin remained still. What's left of it? We still have identity. No, Kelrin interrupted. We had identity. Now we have slogans and therapy apps. One of the younger counselors muttered. They haven't harmed us. Oros snapped. They didn't need to. They outmaneuvered us. We're prisoners wrapped in gratitude. Kelrin rubbed his temple. They were never saviors, he said. They were gardeners. And we agreed to be soil. Scene, Human Cruiser, Observation Bay. Chen stood beside Locke, both watching a new construction site on Varish's southern continent. Reinforcement domes ahead of schedule, Chen said. Good, Locke replied. They'll notice the underground layers soon. They already have. But they won't believe what they're seeing. Not yet. She nodded. And when they do? Locke's smile was quiet. They'll think it's too late. Which it will be. Scene flashback, Earth Central Command, months earlier. A table of shadowed figures listened as Commander Locke presented his plan. No brute force. No overt power grabs. We offer them something no empire ever does, choice. He tapped a screen showing the Varashian leadership's weaknesses. And when they choose wrong, we give them comfort. Then structure. Then dependency. A general in the back leaned forward. What's the end goal, Commander? Locke's eyes didn't blink. Rewriting the galactic balance. One contract at a time. Final scene, planetary message to all species. A final broadcast transmitted from Earth's embassy on Varash. Locke's voice echoed across systems. Earth's hand is extended. Not clenched. But know this, when you invite us, when you accept our aid, we never leave casually. We won't raise our voices. We won't drop bombs. We will simply stay, until our presence becomes the new normal. Empires conquer. We host. Welcome to the future. The message ended with Earth's new emblem, a handshake, subtly shaped like a closed cage. Chapter 4 ends, 1,000 words. Let me know if you'd like a title reveal, closing tagline, or YouTube description-style summary next. You said? Is key high resolution 16:9 aspect ratio main YouTube thumbnail prompt BNA-do? ChatGPT said. Here is a high-resolution YouTube thumbnail prompt in 16:9 aspect ratio for your story. Direct hit thumbnail prompt, 16:9, high resolution. Create a cinematic, high-resolution sci-fi YouTube thumbnail in 16:9 aspect ratio. In the foreground, show a calm, polite human commander in a futuristic black uniform, smiling with folded hands, subtle menace in his eyes. Behind him, an alien council chamber in ruins, with shattered holograms and terrified alien diplomats watching him in shock. One alien is visibly sweating. Include Earth's flag subtly glowing in the background. Use dramatic lighting with a cool blue and orange color scheme. Add the text in bold, futuristic font. They asked for help. We sent him. Ensure epic, high stakes, and ironic HFY, humans are space apex predators, vibe.